confrontational in communities of color, which leads to a fear of the police. So you don't want to come out and say anything about anything because they're at duty, right? So there are social and political issues with this. 45 agrees with stop and frisk. That's a huge problem because now we have a very conservative, right-wing administration that is making local policing a massive issue, a bigger issue than it already is. It has support. Privatization of prisons, rates of recidivism, because there are no programs to support returning citizens to transition back into the community. Forces involved, legislators, organizations that are working on those policies to undermine and empower this movement. To undermine, we have private prisons, and we have school to prison pipelines, and blocking the restoration of rights for returning citizens. But we also have some positive stuff like Ban the Box, right? And we have some organizations that are working very hard to try to get folks their voting rights restored. We also have some community and unions that are participating, the NAACP, legislators, CBTU chapters, and CBTU National. And what we have is an administration under Obama that had actually pushed to stop funding of private prisons, right? But now we see a reversal of that with 45. So who we have against us are far-right organizations, big private prison businesses, far-right legislators, organizations such as ALEC and the NRA. They all fall under the same very right and very conservative agenda. So we asked a question, and my brother Dorsey here stated something. Well, the founding father of this mass incarceration movement actually was Bill Clinton back in the 90s. And we don't all really see that. There's a disconnect there, right? So his mistake, the mistake that was made, right? His mistakes that he's made. We were able to not really pay attention to that because of the mistakes he made in his life. So smoking a little weed, having an affair, made him human, made him accessible, so we overlooked those things. We overlooked his policies that were attacking our communities of color. So, is CBTU involved? Yes, it is. It's involved on the national level. What we discussed was how the different conventions have actually had educational programs regarding mass incarceration to start the conversation, and it's been involved in cases that re-examine folks that are in prison. So it's bringing this conversation back up, right? I'm not sure what the specific cases are, but that was a conversation that was brought up. So they also talk about how labor plays a role in curbing recidivism rates through union jobs, right? You have a good union job, you have some stability, you have some health care, you're given an opportunity through Ban the Box to actually be employed, and you're able to have a more stable life when you are back in the community. So the role of CBTU is a national education campaign with local chapters that may be supporting legislation such as Ban the Box. The values that we bring to the table at CBTU is our voice that can ripple and affect, which can then impact, raise awareness, and prompt others to actually join the movement and become involved with what we're trying to do. So we're not sure how else CBTU is involved, but those are the things that we actually know is happening. So if we weren't involved, if CBTU wasn't involved, there would be a void, as CBTU attracts a number of people and organizations, right? And to not be involved would be a discredit to this organization and its members. The challenges that we're facing are very conservative policies that prevent us from actually moving forward. And I think that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Conservative policies where?
Conservative policies through the administration and local legislation. So for example, like Virginia. Virginia was trying to get past, trying to pass the ability for folks who are returning citizens to actually have their voting rights restored. So that it's not case-by-case cases, right? If you did your time and you coming back into the community, why aren't your rights to vote automatically restored?